Hey guys, it's just me again for the second time today. Today, for this show, we are going to be doing two pairs of super cool earrings that are kind of very different from each other, but also just a little bit similar. But one is going to be like a big, large and in charge earring, and the other one's going to be just a little bit more of an elegant type earring. But we are going to be using components from Globleland. Guys, you know, I just did a project recently with them using these connectors. So I have these whole box of connectors, just all wonderful designs, you know, all kinds of connectors. Today we're going to be using this connector, and we are also going to be using this connector, and we're going to be using this connector, but we are going to be using this connector as a charm. So we are making two different pairs of earrings, but those are the connectors we'll be using. And both pairs of earrings also have these links that we got, guys. We got these gemstone links. I have done a whole necklace project already, and I have two earring projects, and I still have these guys left over. So I believe you got 50 of those. So I still have, and they're the purple and the orange, so I could still make a pretty cool project with those. Yeah. Guys, I also had received the turtles and the nylon cording. I did start a little macrame bracelet. I will finish that at some time in the near future, hopefully. But right now we're just going to do the earrings. That I wasn't happy with how that was coming out. So I had to sit down with that project and figure it out. So yeah. So anywho's. So let's do our large Marge earrings. So let me get my little cheat list. So we're calling these the Shield Maiden earrings because I believe that it kind of looked like a shield. So let me show you those. So these are the ones we're going to be working on first. See, doesn't that look like a shield? So with these, I've used the blue. I believe these are sodalite or lapis. I'm not sure which one. But I believe these are agate, and I believe these are either lapis or sodalite. But they were blue, so I put them together. And yeah, and I thought that was a really pretty earring. You could add if you want to be fancy. You could add a little rhinestone or a glue-on something there in the middle. I did not add one of those because I don't have any. But we're going to make that super cool earring. So let's do this one now. So for this one, you are going to need two. If you're making, now you can use stuff from your stash if you would like. But if you're going to make this earring like I made it, and I will put all of the links in my description box for all of the products that I use. So this way, guys, you can just go right to that link and you can buy that product. If you want to buy these connectors, you just go right to that link and that'll take you right to the shop. So you're going to need two of these. You're going to need two of these. You're going to need 8 of the gemstone columns, and there was exactly 8 of the blue ones, so it worked out perfectly. You're going to need 2 ear wires. You're going to need 8 eye pins. You're going to need 16 small bead caps. I believe these are a 4mm bead cap. You don't have to add the bead caps if you don't want. They're from my stash. You can. I just kind of like how the silver bead caps picked up the silver in there. And I think that is it. Oh, you're going to need some jump rings too. You're going to need 12. You're going to need 12 6mm jump rings. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So your jump rings are going to be at the top, at the bottom. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 6 on each side, so you're going to need 12. I was just to make sure I was right, because sometimes when I write my directions, you know, my list of ingredients, I'm a little bit in the sauce. So we want to make sure that that's right. Okay, so let's jump this out, shall we? And put these gorgeous earrings together, guys. I'm going to try to be quick, because I do have a second pair of beautiful earrings to show you that I'm going to gift to one of my beautiful friends, because she's amazing. And I know that she likes labradorite, so there's your little sneak peek. And so I'm going to make them for her. Okay, so I'm just separating out my beads. Excuse me, guys. And my jump rings. Separating out my jump rings. And we got my little, I always put extra jump rings and eye pins just in case I mess up. Okay, And tools. Tools, you're going to need some cutters. By the way, guys, I got new cutters. My friend Lori, who I'm making the next pair of earrings for, she sent me cutters. She's amazing. So I got brand new cutters, and they're my favorite cutters, guys. These are the Globleland. These are like my cutters of choice. They're an absolute dream to work with. You're going to need some pliers. You're going to need some round nose. Do we need round nose pliers for this project? You do not. You're just going to need some chain nose pliers to open and close jump rings and things like that. You're going to need your cutter. And you are going to need these because we're going to be making loops. So you are going to need round nose pliers. Yes. So these are my standard pliers, you know, just chain nose, round nose. You usually use them for most projects. But nothing crazy. No crazy, sorry, I'm trying to get this wire out of my way. No crazy tools. Okay. So let's start out. So for this project, oh, you are going to need a Dremel or a nail file, which I completely forgot to bring over. Give me one second. Okay, friends. So you're either going to need a Dremel or you're going to need a nail file or like a metal file or something like that, because we are going to be turning one of these connectors into a drop, basically a charm. All right, so let's get started. So first you're going to want to take these. Now these guys will originally they come wrapped. They come as wrapped connectors. You're just going to want to snip those ends off and make them just into regular beads now. And we are going to put those on an eye pin. But first we're going to take a bead cap because I think it's just a cute little style. We're going to put our bead cap on, and then we are going to put our bead on. And then we're just going to go ahead. Now, guys, this is going to be very important. You can either do it now, or I can show you a fun trick to do it later. But we are going to need our loops to go in opposite directions. So how this loop is going this way. Sorry, let me get my tools. How this loop is going this way. So now we're going to want this loop to go in the opposite direction. Oh, let me put the other bead cap on. You want to put 2 bead caps on. Glad I called that. So you're going to want to go in the opposite direction of the loop on the bottom. So that one is facing us, so we're going to make this one going away from us. So you're just going to take your pliers right up there to the bead, and you're just going to want to bite it down. You can also push it over the bead, or you can use your tools and just kind of bite down and do a little chomping motion. Either way works. I tend to use my tools there just because that's how I do it, but either way will work. I sometimes, if it's a really thin eye pin or head pin, I will use my fingers. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to clip. I like to leave myself about 1/4 inch. And then we're going to take our round nose pliers and just put them right there where that wire is. And we're going to do it flush. We don't want any of that wire hanging out there because that will create a weird shape loop. So I did a little bend, and now I'm just going back in and grabbing it again. And I'm just doing little wrist motions. Right? And that one is a little funny looking, which they usually are because I suck at simple loops. I honestly do. I'm the worst. But it's okay. It's okay. You'll get it. And that's what our tools are for. We'll just go ahead and we'll fix this up. Make this loop presentable, shall we? Okay. But the most important thing, guys, is that these loops are closed. Now see how one is going this way, one is going that way. And you can also take your pliers, and you can also, you want them to go this way. You want them to go like across. One to go up and down, and you want one across. And when that matches up, then you know that that link is right. Is it closed? Let's just make sure it's closed, because sometimes the bead caps can throw it off and make it look like it's closed. And it's not closed. And I thought I saw some daylight in there. You don't want any daylight in those loops, okay? These guys I already did earlier, but I didn't fix their rotation. So I will show you our little trick again. Okay, I'm going to find a good eye pin here. And you can make your own eye pins. These are already store-bought eye pins, but you can use, oh, bead caps. You can use, make your own eye pins if you want. I do that a lot too, but sometimes just for convenience sake, I will use the store-bought, okay? And I also like to go the opposite of the cut side. Well, with this, it doesn't matter because we're making them in the other direction. But if I were making them in the same direction, I like to go opposite cut sides because I feel like that keeps the integrity of the metal, okay? So we're going, oh, that's right. We want to go away from, so we're going to go this way, the opposite And when I say bite down, let me bring my hand down so you can see. I just kind of do this, and then I do these little motions on my pliers, and that causes that wire to bend down. Again, you can just push the wire right over as well. Whatever you find easier, my friend. And we're just going to cut, and that might be, okay. And then we're going to just roll that beautiful bean footage. Maybe. Slippery little sucker. Okay. And just rolling. I might have cut this wire a little long, actually. Which is fine. You can go in here, and that's ugly. That is like ugly. But we're going to fix it. We're just going to go in here. And we're just going to take a little bit more off. Because I cut that way too generously. Way too generously. Making sure this loop is closed. That is so important. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to make sure these loops are going in. They are kind of not. So again, we're taking our pliers. We're going to grab onto each one of those loops. And we're going to want one plier going straight down and one plier going straight across. Now, if you wanted to make, if you wanted to make loops that were even, then you would bring your pliers and have them go completely parallel to each other, so you know your loops are even. But we want opposite loops, and I'll show you why. That's very, very important for this project. Because we are using jump rings, and you want to make sure. Now, see, this one's going straight across. So we're going to take our pliers, and see how our pliers are straight across. This is sometimes easier, and I'll do it this way, because it's easier for me to make eye pins, or it's easier for me to make simple loops when they're going in the same direction. And then you just do this, boop, right? You just move that one hand, brought one up and one down, and there you go. Let's do it again because it was so much fun the first time. Again, our pliers are going to be parallel to each other because the loops are in the same direction. And then we're just going to like, oh, look at you. And now we're fancy. And okay, so there we go. All right, enough call. And why this is so important is because we are going to throw a jump ring in here. And why we're putting a jump ring here is because this connector is kind of very round. And so if we were to connect our gemstones here without the jump ring, they're going to fight this connector for space, right? They're going to be too close and they're not going to hang right. So we're putting this little jump ring in here. So this way our columns have some space around that connector, because we don't like our jewelry to not get along. We like our jewelry to look pretty and get along and not fight each other. I'm just going to take a sip, guys. Taking a sip break. It's going to be a long one today, I feel like. My next project's going to be awesome. I can't wait to show you guys that one too. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and attach our jump rings. And guys, these are 6mm jump rings. And I found that they are kind of perfect, the perfect distance for these connectors. So opening jump rings, we're between pliers and we're just twisting open one side. Just twisting one side open. We're going to go ahead and connect this to our connector. Now I am going to stagger it because these are two different gemstones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like crisscross them so this way they look more even. So let's do this light blue one, and I believe this is probably an agate of some kind. Or a quartz. It could be a quartz. You know what? I believe it is a quartz, not an agate. I meant to say quartz. Go ahead and close that. Jump ring, making sure. Sir, can you not? Thank you. Bobo just came over here and decided he was going to scratch my chair to let me know he was here. And now we're going to make the other leg here. So we're going to take this darker one. And that's what they're going to look like, friends. They're going to look like little legs. They're going to look like little legs. Okay. We're going to take this connector. And this will be our other leg. Okay. And then you'll see why. And it doesn't matter which side you connect to. That part doesn't matter. Because the part that matters will be up at the top, and so it will naturally do what you need it to do because you've already prepped it. So now see when this comes up, see how these loops are like this way? Now we can sleep. Yes, we can sleep when this is over. We can slip a jump ring in the middle here and everything will hang nicely. So let's do that. This is going to be the top part of our earring. So we're going to take our jump ring. I have 3 cats sitting on my chair right now, guys. So if I keep bumping the camera, I apologize. And then we're going to go ahead, and I like to kind of hold this up. So this way I'm going through the loop the right way, right? We're going to go through that loop, and then we're going to go through that loop. And that's going to be our top connection. And then we're going to take our ear wire and we're going to slide that on, right? No need to open the ear wire up. We're just going to slide him right on. Closing that, making sure that's nice and closed. Excuse me. So now we have this. And so if these loops were not going the right way, and if they were going the opposite way, then this whole top part would be fighting itself. You know what I mean? It wouldn't look right. It wouldn't hang nicely. It wouldn't hang like that. So now we're going to work on the bottom part. So let's go ahead and attach our legs to the bottom. And then we'll prepare our little charm. And guys, you can use any combination of the connectors in the box. I just thought this was just a really pretty combination. So we're going to do the light blue, and because the lighter blue is on this side, I'm going to put it on this side. And you want to make sure that you're holding this other one out of your way, because you don't want to accidentally put the jump ring, you know, before that, because that will just mess up your whole thing. So make sure you are being very diligent with that part. I was going to say make sure you're making sure you're being careful, but I thought that was a little redundant. Okay. So now we have that leg. And see how that's just going to kind of be opposite? And I just think that's more of a cohesive look. More balanced than having, you know, one all light, one all dark, or having dark and light on the same side. And since they're both blue, I think they both work really well for this design. Because they're very similar in color. Again, we're making sure we're not putting that link on in front of the other link. In front of the other jump ring, rather. You guys know what I meant. Okay. Closing that, making sure that is good. So now we have this guy. And so now we're going to work on the bottom. So here's the bottom. This is a connector, but we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use a different, because I don't want to use my brand new cutters that Lori bought me. Although, guys, this metal, it's not hard to cut. It's not hard to cut. So what we want to do, and I'm going to try to bring it up close, is you don't just want to go ahead and cut like this, right? You don't do that, because then it's not going to look pretty. You want to cut each side evenly, and it's kind of like on a bias here. So you're going to take your cutters, and you're just going to come in here, and you're just going to cut one side of a loop at a time. You don't want to just go across and cut unless you're pretty sure you cannot nick that middle part. But you want to keep the integrity. You want to keep the integrity of the circle. So you just come in here, and right where that circle is meeting the loop, that's where you cut. No more, no less. Just making sure. Okay, and that'll pop right off. Do you see how easy that just popped right off? And it's basically smooth. There's just one little rough edge. So this is where your Dremel or metal file, whatever kind of file you have. If you don't have a file, I mean, it's not a huge thing, but you do want to, I mean, that could become irritating. This is a big earring, so there is a chance that this will rub against your skin at some point. So you really do want to smooth that out. I'm going to use this Dremel on low, guys. If you want to go ahead and mute if you are not a fan of sounds. And then I will give you a thumbs up when I'm done. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the low setting. And I'm just going to come in here and just kind of gently touch it. And just kind of smooth that out. Touch it with your fingers. Look around at it as you're doing it. I'm kind of going in that circular motion, right? Try to give it. Okay, and that is it, basically. That's pretty much it, my friends. Like, literally, was that even a minute? And see how smooth that is? You almost can barely even tell that there was a nub there. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to connect this like we did with the other jump rings. So again, taking our 6mm jump ring, opening that, and now we're working on this side. So I like to, like I said, I like to hold it up in my hand and kind of put it together. So I'm putting the right side, yeah, and we're putting this one. And then we can go ahead and we can add that loop. And this loop, this connector is double-sided, so it doesn't matter what side of the charm you put it on, right? We're going to go ahead and close that up. Okay. Oh, perfect. And there you go. There are our shield, Bobo. There are our shield maiden earrings, and they are super cute. And I have another pair of earrings, guys. I don't know how long this video is right now, but we'll make them real quick. So for these earrings, we are going to be doing a little tiny bit of wire wrapping, not a whole bunch. But this is what we're making. So this is more of it is a long earring because I don't think I know how to make short earrings. Sorry. So, but it is a more daintier. It's not a beefy, it's not beefy like this one. So it's a little more streamlined. But yeah, so we're going to make this one. And for this one, you're going to need 4 5-inch pieces of wire. I am using 22 gauge German style from Beadalon. You are going to need 1 longer head pin and then 2 shorter head pins, or whatever kind of, I have ball head pins. If you want to use ball head pins, you're going to need 3 altogether. I have some long ones and some short ones, and you'll see why. You're going to need 2 ear wires. You're going to need 2 of these knot connectors. Guys, I just literally opened up my bargain bee box before this, and it had labradorite in it. So I stole 6 of these little, I pilfered 6 of these little labradorite. These are 3mm labradorite rounds. I pilfered from that box. As you can see, I did little dangles. So I took a couple of those. Guys, you're going to need 4 of these connectors. I did leave this on to show you how just to cut them off. And I think that's it. So let's get down to this one. First, we're going to go ahead and we're going to prepare some things and some stuff. So again, these, like I said, they came as connectors. So we're just going to cut this off. Just cut this off. Cuts right off. Right? Cuts right off. No problems. No muss, no fuss. Just take those right off. And they become beads now. All right, I'm trying to think. So let's make our little guys first. We're going to do 2 smaller dangles. And these are just going to be simple loops. So we're going to go ahead and put our little, these are 3mm labradorites. Guys, you can use whatever 3mm beads you want. Or not, you can use whatever bead you want. And of course, I can't find the hole. Okay. Again, you can push, we're just doing simple loops. So I'm going to take my tool. You can push the wire over. These are smaller beads, so sometimes it's easier to do that with your tool. Now, we're going to be connecting these onto here. So you want to make sure the loops aren't too small, because then they won't hang nicely. So make these loops just a little tiny bit bigger than you normally would. That's my advice. But I'm just going to go ahead and make them first. And also when you're making bigger loops, you want to go further up your mandrel, because the further you go up your mandrel, the bigger your loops will be. And then so you have something, whoa, whoa. So then you have something like this. Where are you? Oh, Jesus. There you are. You have something like this. Okay. And then we're just going to do 1 more of these beauties. These are really pretty. I tried to pick some that had a lot of really good flash. Go ahead and do the thing with the thing. And we're going to cut, like I said, we're going to cut, make them just a little bit bigger of a loop. And then we're, sorry about dropping the tools. I know that was loud. And we're just going to go mid tool so we get a little bit bigger loop. That is not a closed loop. No, it is now, or it will be. Go ahead, close that loop. And now after you close it, open that back up. And we're going to attach it to this component. We're going to attach it to the corners And we're leaving this loop alone because that's where we're going to attach our gemstone columns. Okay, so take this to the back. Oh my gosh, where are you? Make sure you're closing that. And that's nice and closed. Okay. We're going to do our other one. I'm so thirsty. I want to take another drink, but I don't want to. Oh, wrong side. Make sure you're opening the right side. I got like dry mouth, like a craziness. Like a desert. Okay. Okay, friends. So this is what you will have. You will now have your little connector. Hold on. You'll have your little connector with your 2 drops. Okay. And we are also going to prepare our 3rd drop. So I have a little bit of a longer head pin rather, because I want to do a wrapped loop with this one. So let me see. I did about 3 wraps. Okay. So now we're going to do a wrap loop. So we're going to take our tool and we're going to put it where we think, you know, however many wraps we want. And instead of bending, we're going to bend the wire over the tool this time, right? Like that. Over the tool. So now that we've bent it over the tool, we've created this space. And then we're going to take our other tool, our round nose tool, and we're going to create a loop, and then we're going to fill that space up with wraps. So taking the wire over the pliers, I spin them, and then I continue with my wire, and then I switch hands, and now you have this, and you can go ahead and center that loop however you see fit. And then I'm going to take my pliers, because this is a little bit of a thinner wire, so I'm going to use my pliers, and I'm just going to fill in this space with beautiful wraps, right? We got 3 wraps in there, and that's what you should have. Now we're going to take this off of the tool. Beautiful. And we're going to cut it. We're going to cut that little fella off. Be very careful, guys, because you're kind of in a little bit of a small area here. So you just want to make sure. Now we're going to tuck this in. You're going to find your little guy. Gently tuck him in. I like to hold on to the bottom, actually, because it won't spin around as much. Or you can hold on to this top, and that'll also keep it from spinning. Okay. And that's what we have. Okay. That's our drop. Put him to the side. You're not ready for him yet. Now we're ready for our wire. Guys, if you have one of these wire straighteners, they're super helpful. So I will take my TT pliers, and I'll do this. And then I'll take my nylon jaw pliers, and I'll just go across like this. And that's just straightening that wire out, and also work hardening it a little bit. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to make wrap loops on here. But the reason why we have such long pieces of wire is because we're going to do a fun little swirly do. So we're going to come down about 1/4 down. We're going to make a bend, and then we are going to make our wrap loop. Now up here, this wrap loop, go a little bit higher on your pliers, because you're going to want a little bit of a broader loop, because you're going to be connecting this loop directly onto that connector, and that connector is just a little bit thick, right? So we got this. Now when you take this off, you're going to go ahead and you're just going to swing this open just slightly. Swing that open up, just like you would like a jump ring. Just one motion up. Then we're going to take our connector, and it really doesn't matter a side, I don't think. And we're going to stick that through the tail, and then we're just going to kind of connect that in there until you hear that snap. You might mess up your loop a little bit. This messed up my loop a little bit, but you can go in and fix that. Bring that back down. And then we're going to stick this back in here just to kind of fix that, because I did mess that loop up a little bit. Okay. Not the cutest loop, but so we're going to close that loop up. Okay. And then I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to hand wrap it with my fingers. And I'm just going to hand wrap this 2 times. Just there's 1 wrap, right? Keeping it very, and then 2. Keeping that very, very neat. Neat little 2 wraps in there. And I did mess up that loop a little bit. It's not the prettiest loop. I probably will redo this one, but for video's sake, you can also kind of bring your wraps up a little further. Kind of fixing that's actually not too bad now. I kind of prettied it up a little bit. Go ahead and cut that off. Okay. And then we're just going to push this down just a little bit. Okay. So now we have connected this right onto the component. Okay. And now we're going to, we do B caps? No. Okay. We're going to take our first column and we're going to go ahead and put that on. So this is going this way. So you want to go the same direction. I mean, it's really not that important, but I think it looks better. And we are going to be making another wrap loop down here, but we're going to add a little something special. We're going to bring the wire up and around the bead like a little swirl. But so we're going to go ahead and we're going to maybe this much space. You want about 2 wraps in there. Bending that over the tool. Putting your, now you don't have to make a big of a loop here because you're not going to have a thicker connection. So over the tool, swinging that around. Bringing that back down, centering that up. Okay. Now we have to figure out what is the front of our component. What is the front of our earring here? Okay, I kind of like this side, so we're going to say that this is going to be the front. So we're going to take this wire, keeping it on the tool, and I'm just going to start wrapping 1. There's our second wrap. Now we're coming around the front, so I'm going to take this off of the tool. So this is going to be the front of our earring. So I'm going to want to take this wire, and then you can hold your tool with these if you want. Sometimes it will bend it a little out of shape, so just be careful. And I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to kind of wrap this around. Now I'm going to take that off the tool. I just wanted to have some leverage for that. Sometimes you have to put it on the tool to get leverage. But once you start it, you can take it off the tool and continue. So I'm going to take it around the back, and then I'm going to wrap it one more time around the front. We're going to space those wraps out just a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to continue that wrap, but we are going to move this out of our way. We're going to continue that wrap to the back and just attach it. Right? And now we're going to cut that. Making sure we are not cutting our other wires and or our component. Being very mindful of that cut. And then we're just going to come in here and find our little pokey end. You know he's in there somewhere. And we're just going to smooth him down. Right? Okay. And so now this is what we have. We have our component and we have our first column bead, and he's swirly-do. And this is a little funky for me, so you can just come in here and just straighten this stuff out, guys. Just straighten that right out, and that's perfect. Okay. Now we're going to add our next wire, our next link. So we're going to go ahead and play tool shuffle. And I'm so like, because I have mental health, if things are askew, I have to constantly, that's the autism in me, guys. I do have Asperger's, so that's that part of me where everything has to be like straight. So I apologize if that's annoying. I will try to not let that bother me as much, but it's hard, you know, when your brain is wired a certain way, it's hard. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and do that like we done previously. Again, we're going to take this down about a quarter of the way, bending that over the tool, getting around those pliers. We are going to go ahead and, again, it does have to be a huge loop because we're just connecting it to, you know, regular 22 gauge wire. So it can be just a normal size loop. Taking that around, go ahead, bring this over, take this off, and then just open that little window just slightly. You don't have to open it much because this is kind of thin. I don't think it matters. You just kind of put that on there like you did the last one. Make that connection. Get your tool. Close that loop. And then hold that there. And then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to take this wire and we're just going to neatly wrap twice. So that's one wrap. Holding that tight and getting lots of tension in that wire. So the more tension that you put when you're wrapping it, the tighter and neater it will look. Unless you want a loose wrap, that's completely up to you guys. I mean, this is just how I preferred it. Okay. And grab grabbing these little pliers. Oh, that was close. I don't really see much of a, just a little tiny poker. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to put on our second column. And this is the part that gets a little tricky because you do have to figure out, okay, that's the front side. I am going to make the loop in the same direction just because I kind of like that symmetry. So we're going to line this loop up with this loop, which is going this way. Now guys, don't close this one because we are going to attach that drop to this one, right? So over the tool like we would, we're going to come in here and we're going to make our loop, right? Turning the pliers over, bringing that back around. We're going to go ahead and open this loop just a little bit, swinging it up. And then we're going to insert our drop. Then we're just going to bring it down, and that's going to slide right into there. And then we're going to take our tool, closing that loop. Now we're going to go ahead and start our wire wraps in here. So that's one, and you should be able to get two. Now we have to see where our okay, so this is the front. Okay, so just to get our leverage, I'm just going to turn this around, and we can fix this loop when we're done, not a problem. But I'm just going to go ahead and get my leverage and start here, right? Bring it around that first time. And then once I get that leverage, I can take it off the tool. And then I will hold it here with my hand and then bring this around, holding everything very tight. And then bring it around here. Make sure I like that spacing, and that is on the right side. And then I'm going to bring my wire up here to the front and just take it around to the back, and I will do one more wrap and then go ahead and cut that. I hope I was on camera with that. I apologize if I wasn't. I'm going to have to check this before I load it, make sure I was on camera, because I was not paying, I just was like paying attention to the loop. Now you can go here and you can fix up all of your uglies. So go ahead and push that wire in, make that nice and pretty. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten everything out. That's the back. That's the front. Make sure I got all the uglies. Okay. This is the front. Look how pretty that is. That is so pretty. So let's go ahead and attach our ear wire. Now these are stainless steel ear wires. Lori, I don't know if you have ear allergies, but these are stainless steel, so you should be fine. But these are really hard to open, so just be mindful of the ear wires. But these will fit right into this loop if you've opened it enough, which I did not. Oh my God, they're so hard to open. Make sure you're putting on the right side. Okay. I'll try this again. There we go. Okay. And then close that. Make sure that is closed. And there you go. There you go, my friends. Thank God the longest video in the world is over. But there is our super sweet little labradorite. They got the little dangles. Our super sweet labradorite earrings. So we got those. And then let's bring in our other stars of the show. We had 2 stars of the show today, folks. 2 stars. I was brave. There we go. I was brave and did a twofer. And I hope that you were here for the whole thing. And I hope that this inspired you. And I hope that you make something similar. Guys, again, this is for Globleland. I will connect all of that in the description box. I have a 10% code with them, guys. Colleen 10. COLLEEN 10, and that will get you 10% off. I did have somebody recently reach out to me because I was told that you could use that multiple times, but they said they tried to use the code a second time and they couldn't. And so I did contact them, and they did say that you can use it one per customer, but my code will like refresh in a couple months, maybe they said, and then you can use it again. But I'll keep you updated, guys. So, but that code is Colleen 10, and that will get you 10% off your first order. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And I'll be back soon. See you. Bye.